Hello guys, welcome back to the Profit Manage channel. There's quite a lot of volatility at the time of me recording this, so we do have to get this video out of the way very quickly so that you guys can get the latest information as soon as possible. So, are you guys bullish or bearish? Let me know in the comments. Are you guys buying? Are you guys hodling? Are you selling? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. And yeah, let's get straight to the charts because on the USD dominance chart, we actually sliced through quite a lot in my bearish trending channel. We actually are having a breakout at this moment. However, it's important to note that we're still in a region that is to be considered bearish for the USD dominance chart. This can easily be a simple retrace, which you guys can see is actually quite overextended over this entire move. And we are also in a territory where pretty much marked the top of the USD dominance chart. So this, in my opinion, could actually imply that very soon, as we may start to either reverse from here or consolidate a little bit in this region, we are actually, in my opinion, preparing for some significant downside in the USD dominance chart, aka more upside in the market. That is because we're actually stepping into levels that created the bottom of the bear market in this cycle. Okay, you can see that we are speaking about levels that we haven't seen since 2022 and 2023. And before you say, oh, this implies bear market and whatnot, I don't really believe that that is the case. If anything, Bitcoin this time around, at this moment at least, is actually holding up pretty decently compared to where we were that time. At that time we were down here when the dominance chart was at these levels. So the fact that it's currently 8.17% for the USD dominance chart, and the high was and still is at 9.48%. Bitcoin, I think that is actually holding up pretty decently at this moment. So what does that mean? It means that if we were to stop somewhere around here with the USD dominance chart, that there is a very good likelihood that we may actually maintain ourselves within this region, which is the reason why I also ended up longing pretty much at this exact level. I did have a trade before this today that got stopped out, but it was part of the plan for me to long once again if I were to be stopped out. I actually shared this trade on Involio, which, as you guys can see, it's currently up 6.17%. This is the second try, okay? The first try, I pretty much said, where is it? Right here, that if it fails so long again, because I saw the possibility of this happening, but of course, because the USD dominance chart actually stepped into my levels, um, I had to be a buyer there. So at this moment in time, I think that we gotta wait for this expansion to finish off. But understand that unless we actually start to go significantly higher than 9.48%, that I think that we will start to see a reversal to the downside. And this is the area that I've had for quite a while now. Probably, I think I've done this in 2024, where I actually put this note right here that as we were going to step above 6.78%, that I wanted to be a buyer. And therefore, I have, of course, done exactly that. I have went all in the market at this moment in time. I'm completely in all coins. So this is currently what I'm personally doing. There is, of course, another chart for the ST dominance chart that we will monitor, which is this one right here. And here you can see that we have actually breached through my equilibrium zone. If you guys want to see my portfolio, my coins, how much I've invested in each coin and my entry prices, and you want to get all of my trades and exit signals, then check out the link down below. You can subscribe to our premium group. This is going to be the best deal that you can get right now. The prices will go up very soon. We want to lock in as many people as possible before the old season starts, because once the old season starts, guys, it will be too late and it will be time to sell, not to buy. So make sure to join Profit Manage as soon as possible. Get in, secure your spot, and make this your life changing cycle. It's important to note that this, because it's not necessarily a specific level for support or resistance, this equilibrium zone concept that I use, that this can of course happen, but it will still be an area that is likely going to create a reaction back to the downside, unless we were to go and do something like this, where we expand and we actually maintain support within this region, and then we move to the upside. But I think that it's very, very early to say, and we're still within the bearish golden pocket. So I'm still optimistic. I still believe that we will see a significant reversal to the downside, aka more upside, but you gotta let the market do its thing. Okay, I don't think that we will spend as much time as many people think in this area. I've seen a lot of people talk about 30K, 50K, or bear market, or that we will have to wait many years before we see any sort of new uptrend and whatnot. But what most people that say this actually fail to realize is that the market didn't start moving down right now. If anything, it actually started moving down since October. From October, we are down over or close to $60,000 at this moment. Okay, yeah, 59.8, and people started to call bear market as we were breaking down pretty much last week and maybe the last 2 weeks, if I want to be generous, right? So this is my point. I think that people are waking up to the idea of us going lower way too late, and when everybody's calling for the same thing, I have to look for the other way. That's why I'm openly so bullish right now, despite the possibility, of course, of going a little bit lower. We cover the levels, guys, in the chart very soon. Next, we got the total 3 minus Solana and BNB, which actually just stepped just now, and I covered this in my previous videos, guys. Make sure to go and subscribe and watch the previous videos to actually understand my overall game plan, which is so important to do right now. I will definitely be watching the last 2 to 3 videos at this moment. But we just started to step into my checkpoint area, where from anywhere within this region is where I wanted to see this particular chart go down into, and we just started to do that. We have a trend right here that was missing the third touch. We got that now. So we may even potentially bottom from here, but ideally, guys, I still want to see a little bit more downside. I still want to see this low right here being taken out. Once we take out this low, unless we have a major correction to the downside, that was put us back down into this area right here around 390 billion, which, by the way, we haven't really seen since September 2024. Unless we see that, I think that the bottom can actually come a lot sooner. But then again, you need to see a reversal by either this area in which we're in right now, or you got to see a reversal by $537 billion. If you don't see that happening after taking out this low, and you see market going down, you gotta be looking down into this region, which is not gonna be bad. In the short term, it may look like it's doomsday and whatnot. I would actually be even more bullish, because we do have a lot of levels that require a retest. This green trendline channel is your current support. Every single time that we step into this region, we found support, and this is an annotation which you guys can go and check. My older videos, even stuff from months ago. I've had this trendline channel right here that kept on saying main resistance to be retested, because we broke out of it on October 2024, but never retested it afterwards. So if we were to go and do that right now, of course, we will step into 360 billion. That looks like a complete doomsday, complete cycle reset. We must not ignore the possibility. But at this moment in time, because I'm seeing a lot of support being found, well, we are actually in an area of support across many different charts, which I will show you guys in a second. I still think that there is a possibility for us to bottom within this region over here, because people are just looking way too down at this moment in time, and that will also tell me that we will see a major move to the upside that probably comes very quickly. So I'm expecting to see major liquidations to the upside very soon. I'm not saying that that moment is right now. Okay, I'm I still think that we may see a bottom around in the next 12 days circa, by February 17th, give or take a couple of days, but somewhere around that that time zone, I think that we will see a bottom, and I've been saying that publicly on Involio as well. So make sure to go and follow me on Involio. And I've actually said that when you start to realize that Chinese New Year dictates the direction of the trend, you will be at a new level of your trading career. You go and study last year's Chinese New Year, and then you will start to understand what I'm referring to here. Okay, so I still think that we will find the bottom very, very soon. And if we see a major move to the downside happen very quickly, right, you should still be rejoicing because it most likely validates my idea of the bottom coming within the next 12 days, circa, give or take a couple of days. Okay, so let the market do its thing right now. Again, I'm all in. I accept the possibility of seeing any short-term drawdown because the coins that I've bought at the prices at which I bought them at are so good that any short-term drawdown will very quickly be removed, and and a lot of gains can be actually expected afterwards. So let's continue. The total two chart. You can see that we actually strike a lot of important areas right here. Um, Not only did we touch this trend right here that was missing a third touch, this is likely going to create a bear trap at this moment where I would expect to see a continuation to the upside. Not only that, but we are about to, not yet, but we are about to, most likely this week, step into this trendline channel, which again is your support at this moment. So not only that, you also have a bullish golden pocket right here, so you have a lot of confidence, guys, to expect support to be coming in, give or take. Yes, we may go a little bit lower, but it doesn't really matter at this moment in time, especially if you're buying altcoins or investing in the market overall. Of course, it depends on what you're buying. I'm not bullish necessarily for everything. I'm not necessarily that bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not necessarily that bullish on something like, for example, XRP or Solana. Doesn't mean that Does that mean that other coins cannot pump? Absolutely not, in my personal opinion. Again, not financial advice. You guys are able to do whatever you want, but I am extremely bullish. I really like what I'm seeing. I've been a bear throughout this entire cycle, and I was warning people that something like this was going to happen. And right now, I only see reasons to look for the upside. Moving on, this is the contrarian layout. So here we actually slice through this trend right here. Not that it really matters that much. We do also have another anchor point which will be pushing us a little bit lower. That would be 1.8. It doesn't necessarily have to take out the low from July of 2024. Sorry, August of 2024. And I don't even think that we generally have to look for that low. Let me actually look if there is a better anchor point on the weekly time frame. I'm sure that we may find something right here. Well, here we're currently below week to body. Yeah, bonds a little bit lower than $2.24 trillion. But yeah, these were some checkpoints that I did want to see to the downside. We have actually struck them this week, so this is great. We do welcome a little bit more downside, but overall, guys, we are in a bullish golden bucket. I think that we will see some sort of reversal very soon. And the good thing about all of this downside, guys, I'm not sure if I said this publicly on YouTube or not, or maybe it was just for premium. But if because we have seen the downside right here, this actually, in my opinion, invalidates the possibility of this head and shoulder formation actually playing out across the board. Because I think that you're kind of breaking the neck formation, maybe not by that much. It really depends on the chart. Some charts are different, but I start to believe that we shouldn't even be considering that anymore, because we already started that leg to the downside. That should have came a little bit later, at that being the pattern to follow and to be printed. So at this moment, guys, I'm generally very, very bullish. I really, really like what I am seeing. It's just a matter of being a little bit more patient. So if I were to be still having capital in the market and looking for exposure, I think that this is a very good time to do so. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm speaking about an hypothetical scenario where I will be in that situation. I'm just saying what I will do. But yeah, I will be buying a lot right now. It's in my opinion, this type of correction that we are seeing right now is literally not different than the ones that we've seen from COVID, to be honest, where, in a very short amount of time, we went really low, but we also managed to recover over time. And before you knew it, that was the bottom, and we had a major continuation to the upside. I think that we may see something like that, and it may even happen quicker, but we will see about that. But at this moment, generally very, very bullish in the long term and mid term, that is, of course. Total 2 finally trading below the 200 EMA. We wanted to see that. Okay? Go and watch the previous videos. So far, we are perfectly retesting the 6.20%, and this is an overall entire area of bullish golden pocket. So why would I be too bearish right now? What I said in the previous videos as well is that if we strike this trend right here, which originates from COVID, guys, this is a trend that every single time that we have touched, we have had a major, major trend to the upside. So you should be rejoicing, guys, if we were to see $801 billion coming into fruition for the total 2 chart. We have the same exact trend line in a lot of other different charts. So let's look at the total 2, for example. Sorry, I was meant to actually remove this projection right here. Total 3. So total 3, I will not actually remove the initial information just yet. And look, I think that there is more downside because we have not touched it 200 DMA just yet. Okay, we still have to do that. And here, if we were to have a significant collapse from the current level, we have to look at 502 billion. But that is the same exact trend that I was just showing you guys on the total 2 chart that ideally we do end up hitting. So if you do see a very quick correction to the downside, do not get scared. I mean, it would have been scary to do the same exact thing, aka buying, when this happened, when you had a whole entire pandemic, right, around the world. Who in the right mind will have bought that? But the people that have done it, right, reaped significant life-changing returns on their investments. Okay. And I think that this is not going to be any different, especially for the altcoins. Moving on. Orders chart. Look at that. We just started to step into my big trending channel. And look at that. I still want us to go a little bit lower. I think that we have to see at least $157 billion. Ideally, even 150, 150 pretty much on the dot. If we do end up liquidating the low of August 2024, that will still be great. Within this region, I feel like between 168 billion to 117 billion, all points will find their bottom. This order chart will also find their bottom. This has already done that bearish pattern that was presented in many different charts. So why would I be bearish right now? There is a lot of support in this region. It is going lower at a lower pace than something like Bitcoin, in my opinion, and that is indicating underlying strength in the market that is coming through all coins. You're not seeing it right now because prices are going lower, but they're not going as low as the rate at which Bitcoin is moving to the downside. So that is the most important thing, in my opinion, to take into consideration. Moving on to Solana, we'll touch on Bitcoin in a second here, but on Solana, I gave you guys a target in the previous videos. I gave you guys a target also on Involio, where I said Solana 78 and 59. I was referring to the levels that I think will be the ones at which it ends up bottoming at. We are close to my projection, and from anywhere between these two levels that I gave you, 78 to $59, give or take, this will be the entire area of where Solana is to be accumulated. Okay. But within these regions is where I think that a reversal can happen. But as you guys can see, the market has not yet reached those levels. So it makes sense for it to go down a little bit lower, because from that moment onwards, we can actually start to expect a reversal to the downside. Do you guys know how much liquidity there has been created now to the upside? The market required that for us to get to have a significant move to the upside. Without liquidity to the upside, you basically have no bull market. Okay, the same goes for a bear market. You have to generate a lot of liquidity downward for the bear market to make sense. Okay, but that is currently happening to the upside. So what does that mean, right? That is the way they should be looking at it. So Bitcoin, we did lose this level of support between 74.4 and 73.7. I said that I think that we should be transacting a little bit more with this region and have a full body candle closure, go through this area, both to the downside and to the upside. On the weekly, it kind of seems like we do have that now because we have a full candle on the weekly. We may have to do this on the daily. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. But to the upside, we do have a candle right here. And to the downside, now we have a candle right here. So if this closes below 73.5, I think that we have pretty much covered this gap right here. The reason why I'm saying it's a gap is because we didn't really transact as much within this region. Okay, we never have. And when we did, right, we had a straight candle to the upside. The market does want to balance that because people didn't really have a chance to sell over here on the weekly time frame. Now they have. So if this is a gap, this is now covered, okay? Or it's in the process of being covered, I should say. So your next level of support, if required, okay, happens to come between 64 and 2 and 61.6. You can see the current levels on the Bitstamp chart. Moving on, let's actually see some more charts right here. This is the total one chart on my main layout. I do have quite a few layouts, I know. But here, third touch of the trend line, bullish trending channel. This is a lot of support on a bullish golden pocket. Why would I ignore that? Total 2. Now, this has broken down below and it's actually presenting support at 804 billion. But then again, it's also within a bullish golden pocket. So I think there is still quite a lot of support and potential for support to be found somewhere around here. However, if it doesn't happen, I will not be scared at this moment in time. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion. Actually, move a lot of this. Remove that. Let's clean it up a little bit. So if we were to go a little bit lower, we already know where to look. But we may even potentially bottom out somewhere around this region. Although I do favor, because it's an important trend, and again from COVID, okay, for us to go down into this region. Same goes for total 3. On this particular layout, ideally we do end up seeing 600 billion. It's a trend line from which we broke out from, that was never retested. Okay, not properly at least. We do have a wick right here, but I think that we do require a bit more downside at this moment. So that will be at around $582 billion. Okay, the orders chart. Ideally, we do take out the slow, which is where I think that old season will start. A proper support will be coming at 132 billion. So if I were to give you guys some prices, some specific levels, I will be watching for this pretty much. This here right here. 132. Let me actually fix this up. All right, perfect. Between 156.59 to 132.22. This will be the area where I want to find support. It's also part of a projection which I actually displayed over here. I'm expecting to see a significant move to the upside, followed by a correction before we actually break to the upside. Moving on, Bitcoin dominance. Look at that. Isn't this a sign of altcoin resilience at this moment? Shouldn't this be moving up as Bitcoin is moving down? So what does that tell you guys? What does that generally tell you? Isn't this a sign of money rotation and altcoins actually holding up very well against Bitcoin dropping, right? So next, we do have Ethereum. Ethereum did step into my area for potential long. It's also in a bullish breaker. I'm currently long 2x leverage. I just entered because the breaker was hit. Not that I'm expecting this to be the perfect bottom. I think there is a potential of going a little bit lower when we plot the trend lines. And we are looking at, sorry, Not extend this. Okay, perfect. I think that we will be looking at, as of this particular week, we're looking down to around 1539, which is definitely a possibility. But from there onwards, guys, I'm still looking to the upside. And like I said for Bitcoin, if this fails, I will long again because the prices and the opportunities just make sense. The levels also make sense. So, okay, this short has been fulfilled, so we are removing it. I'm actually going to be adding an alert down here. Just so I remember too long again, in case that we do end up taking out my stop loss. Okay. So next we got a total three Solana and BNB, XRP, and USDT and USDC. As you guys can see, we are actually so damn close finally to the October 10 wick. I wanted this to be filled. This was part of a projection that I gave you guys months and months ago. Go and watch the YouTube video that I made called Hidden Crypto Charts. Okay, because I was actually pointing to this exact thing. We want to see this wick being filled. We want us to step into this region where we have a lot of bullish order blocks. We got internal range, sell side liquidity. We have a lot of levels, guys. Here, I kid you not. There's a lot that we would be touching if we were to go a little bit lower. Okay, so your current level of support is 206.65 billion. We could even flush a little bit lower and go to around 191 billion. But to the people that think that this bottom is going to come much later down the line, I think that they are wrong. Unless the market starts to reverse without hitting these levels, that would be the only way that I see us going a little bit longer before we finally bottom. But by this pace, by this rate right here, I think that the bottom will be coming very, very soon. So I'm excited, guys. I'm very, very optimistic about the future. So let me know what you guys are thinking.